beyond his comprehension.
We don't know that for sure yet. It's up to the major championship bodies to make that determination, but that is a possibility. That some players will never ever get a chance to play a major championship, never get a chance to experience this right here. Walk down the fairways, I guess, match. I just don't understand it.
The comeback from other golfers might be that they never had Tiger's talent, meaning they could never acquire anywhere near the same amounts of money. At the sports desk, Ted Ramey, KCBS.
Did you know that thread count is a myth? Think about it. It doesn't matter how many threads your sheets have if they're not the best quality thread. I'm Scott Salmon, founder of Boll & Branch, and we know that the softest sheets are made with the highest thread count. We start at the source and make our sheets from scratch. Our farmers grow the finest 100% organic cotton on earth. Our weavers are the best in the industry and only use the longest staple thread. This all means they're free from toxins, have superior softness, and get softer with every single wash. They're like 3 U.S. presidents. To top it off, we have a 30-night risk-free trial, plus free shipping and return. Our sheets are made different, so you can sleep better. Get 20% off your first set of sheets when you use promo code DEAL at bollandbranch.com. See site for details. That's BOLLAND branch.com. Promo code DEAL.
A recent survey sponsored by Teleflex shows that men with an enlarged prostate, also known as BPH, often experience urinary symptoms that significantly impacts their quality of life. More than 70% of men surveyed, their daytime energy level is impacted by having to get up to urinate frequently at night. Nearly a quarter of those surveyed with BPH symptoms even sleep in a different room to avoid waking their partner. Dr. John Kaspar of Associated Urologists of North Carolina.
If left untreated, BPH can lead to permanent bladder damage. For nearly a quarter of men who've taken medication say it was either not effective or not effective at all in reducing their need to plan their next bathroom trip. Fortunately, there's a proven minimally invasive and typically outpatient option for BPH called the UroLift system treatment.
Most side effects are mild to moderate. Rare side effects such as bleeding and infection may be serious and require intervention. Visit urolift.com today for more information or to find a urologist near you. Dr. Kaspar is a paid consultant of Teleflex. KCBS News Time 1:18, and we are going back to San Jose, check on the health of traffic on Highway 87 with Dave Fowkes from your local Honda Dealers Traffic Center.
Oh, there is a lot of traffic there, that's for sure. Northbound 87 for Kirtner to Grass Fire. The fire itself under control, but the fire department's still there, and the 2 right lanes are blocked. That means single file in the left lane and traffic backed up between 85 and Capital Expressway. The latest crash just coming in for Hayward northbound 880 for Winston. A couple of cars reported in the left lane. We do see some slow traffic before Highway 92, but still on the way to that scene. Northbound 680, we've got some slow traffic tracking into Pleasanton from Bernal as you head up for Stone Ridge. Street sweepers should be wrapping up in the right lane. And in San Francisco, really slow now. Eastbound 80 from 101 on to the lower deck. Your next traffic update at 128 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Hey, good afternoon. Okay, for us today in San Francisco, we're only getting up to 67, which is right on the dot for average during this time of year. 71 in Oakland. In San Jose, the Santa Clara Valley is pretty warm recently. That's also the case for us in our Inland East Bay and the North Bay, but that's changing even more as we head into the weekend. 82 today for the North Bay, 91 just by Saturday, so we're jumping about 10 degrees as we head into the next 5 days. In addition to the National Weather Service has issued a coastal flood advisory for the next 4 days until Friday. Why is that? Well, we are dealing with king tides. They have returned to the forecast for us. We're keeping a close eye on that. It's mostly an overnight system. High tides will occur in the late hours tonight alone around 10:45. So we're keeping a close eye on that. But for now, I'm meteorologist Jessica Birch with your KCBS KPX5 First Alert Forecast.
Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. KCBS News Time 120, and our News Watch continues. A new CDC analysis released today shows how superbug infections surged during the pandemic as patients were sicker with weak immune systems and hospitals were short on staff and equipment to treat them. For more, we are joined on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline by Dr. George Rutherford, pediatrician and director of prevention. pandemic because everybody was masking up.
Yeah, that's correct. Flu cases went way real infections, unfortunately, that are coming back. And part of this is that the ICUs get so full that, while infection control is hugely important in ICUs, I can understand how there might be breakdowns and breeding of further resistance among organisms.
So you think a number of cases came from emergency rooms then?
Well, more ICUs, I would guess, or we just don't know at this point in time.
Right. Could there be just a lower immune system response when it comes to these superbugs, and that's what's infecting some of these patients?
Sure. I mean, that's totally possible. A lot of the people who end up in ICUs with COVID are people who are immunocompromised to start with, and so they have less inherent resistance, including these bacterial infections that people are talking about.
What about other illnesses like cancer or things that were missed? I mean, I put off many appointments during the height of the pandemic.
Bad boy. So, that's absolutely true. And the worldwide measles vaccination rates are way down by a million. And there has been a large deficit in our screening programs, in our immunization programs. It's not just for adults; it's for children as well. So if you haven't had the screenings you're supposed to get, and you haven't had the vaccines you're supposed to get, and we're not talking about COVID vaccines here, we're talking about everything else. Make sure you get caught up, because there's going to be a burden of disease that's going to be the result of inadequate screening programs. That's for sure.
Could we get hyper local here when we talk about superbug and the surge that came during the pandemic? How did the Bay Area fare when it came to superbugs?
I just don't know. I'm sorry. It's sort of. The Washington Post doesn't care about San Francisco.
Tell us a little bit then how we are with the variants in the Bay Area. Are we still doing well or better than the rest of the country?
Yeah, well, everybody pretty much has the same thing across the country. It's predominantly the BA5 subvariant with a fair amount of BA4 as well. We're really just learning about BA5 now in terms of its clinical severity, which appears to be about the same as the other Omicron variants and subvariants. Interestingly, one of my colleagues talks about how people are less likely to have lost their sense of taste and smell with these later Omicron variants. The other thing to note is that the BA5 variants have additional mutations which that make them somewhat less recognizable to the immune system, and not about how well these mutations aren't about how well the virus binds to the receptor sites efficiently. It replicates itself. They're about how well it evades the immune system, and so as a result, in Australia, for instance, the health authorities in South Australia, the state of South Australia, are now saying that if you've been infected, you should only consider yourself immune for 28 days, not the 90 days people have talked about in the past. There is a lot of second reinfections that are going on that people are seeing.
Interesting. It's so good to talk with you again, Doctor. Thank you.
You bet. Take care.
Dr. George Rutherford, pediatrician and director of prevention and public health group at UCSF, joining us live on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline. On to the Money Watch now and checking in with Jason Brooks.
Brett, stocks turned south in the final hour of trading as commodities plunged and the dollar reached parity with the euro for the first time in 20 years as recession fears weigh on the European Union. Oil plummeted more than $8, settling under $96. Concerns that global demand will sink under an economic slowdown. The Dow dropped 192 points, NASDAQ down 107, the S&P lost 35. Tesla has filed a 60-day warning notice in San Mateo County for the layoffs of 229 employees in its autopilot program. The layoffs were previously reported and the workers were...
that.